Razorbacks are on the road, shorthanded. No Jalen Graham, no Menafield, no Trevor Brazil, barely any Devo Davis. And somehow
Almost
complete
no Mark.
this. I know, right? Complete the sweep of Texas A&M. Hey, in a season when you're struggling, when you're looking for something good, how about sweeping Texas A&M? How about Muss's first win at Texas A&M of his career? Arkansas Razorbacks defeat those Texas A&M Aggies by a score of 78-71. This is Arkansas basketball recap. I'm Dan Price. That's Jacob Price here to break it all down for you. I'm going to say this. I thought this was the best game of the year that they played. I know that we beat Duke. I know some other things happened. We didn't shoot the ball that well. I mean, we were 39%. I'm talking about the way that they played, the way that individuals played, even guys that didn't shoot the ball well. I'm talking about guys like Battle and guys like Davenport who did not particularly shoot the ball well, but I loved the way they played, the energy, the effort, the defensive intensity, the going after the balls, all of this stuff, man. Like this looked a little bit. I thought maybe I'm just being a little, maybe I'm getting too high on the win here, but I thought this looked like a Musselman team. Or they maybe not like as long as some others, but like they played like a Musselman team. Like and honestly, they started that last game and they came up short, but they did carry it over, and I felt like improved upon it. And I liked the energy, the effort. Must plays 8 guys. One of those guys, Devo, only plays 7 minutes, so really plays 7 guys. That's he's been forced into that by injury, but that is more his mo. I'm here for it. I liked what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that the last 3 games they have played better.
Mm-hmm.
They've played better, and in the places that are the most important for this team to play better, which is it's not like it doesn't feel like fool's gold in that it's not just them hitting a bunch of threes. Although they did do that for that one half of the Tennessee game, but then they didn't even win that game. But they're playing with more defensive intensity. And I mean, yesterday we were recording this the next morning, but last night, I mean, dude, they even said that we like ran them off the court.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you play that much better than the other team as far as like intensity and defense, I think the fact that this game was even as close as it was shows that Arkansas still has some,
Well,
issues
it shows that
scoring and
we didn't shoot the ball particularly well. We can shoot the ball better than that.
yeah, well, and they, you know, like I said, we are shorthanded. We're missing some guys, So, um, and it wasn't like I mean, this game was close, but we did have a 10-point lead for a good part of the second half, and they came back and almost tried to make a run at it, but yeah, they're improving. I mean, they are getting better, and honestly, I mean, unfortunately, I still don't believe it's going to become anything. Obviously, I'm too cynical and jaded to hope that like I mean the season's gone, you know what I mean? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
too late. But it's impressive for the character of these individual players that they haven't just quit. Because I've quit, basically, you know what I mean? Like
Like, I
I've given
think.
up on the season. I don't know why they haven't.
Well, I talked about this a couple games back. I don't know if I said it while we were recording or if I just said it to you. I kind of thought like, hey, would you hate it if they did end up putting it together a little bit and got an NIT bid and then they made a run? Like, would you hate hanging an NIT championship banner on a bad season? Like, is that something you could try to make a run? I'm not saying this team can win the NIT. I'm just saying, is that something you'd make a run at? Like, is that sort of like a silver lining on a bad year that where it took much longer for the team to come together and figure some stuff out? And then some more games happen, and I'm just like, dude, this team isn't gonna like they're not for that. Like they're not gonna do after the last 2 games. I'm like, I don't know. You got 5 games left. If you can win 3 of them or something like that, and there's 3 of them that are winnable. You got Missouri, Vanderbilt, LSU. Those are winnable. I don't know if you're beating Kentucky or Alabama, but and so and you end up with that kind of 16 and 15 record. Maybe you get an NIT with that. I don't know. but maybe make a little bit of a run in the NC, or the SEC tournament. Chalk up a couple more wins. If the team is going to play like this, did that team that was playing last night look like a team that would want to do that? That said, hey, we would like to go compete for something like that. We would like to give that a shot. I think if you got to the point where you said like, hey, I think we've gotten better. I think we're playing good. I like the way we're playing. We feel good about the way we're playing. We know that because of what happened before this, that our NCAA hopes are gone outside of winning the SEC tournament, which is not going to happen. But hey, we feel like we're playing better, that we've gotten better, and we feel like we can go show that, and we can go, win some games in a tournament. Um, yeah, I would be down for that if that's the kind of effort they're going to play with.
I mean, it's definitely a whole lot more fun to watch a team. I mean, not just because of winning, but just to watch your team play with intensity and effort versus turning the ball over. I mean, dude, I mean, it's just been miserable because it's not, I mean, it's not just getting your butt kicked, it's getting your butt kicked and playing ridiculously stupid basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're going to play like that, they're at least fun to watch. And I mean, dude, don't get me wrong. If they continue to play like that, regardless of how many games they win, if they play with that intensity and they're in a bunch of these upcoming games, I will be, regardless of, trying to hedge against my own heartbreak, I will be watching the SEC tournament with my nose pressed to the TV, begging and hoping for some miracle to happen. You know what I mean? Because I mean, before these last couple of games, there's just no even dream of catching lightning in a bottle. This team's tripping over their own feet. You know what I mean? Like they're just not. But if they're going to do that, and if they continue to get better and maybe get some guys back and continue to play and maybe gel a little bit, and if they can play with that kind of intensity, then you're at least not a complete fool for being like, well, you never know. It's one game at a time. You're capable of, like I said, you did beat Duke, you did beat Purdue, even though it didn't count. Like you might be able to, if maybe Kentucky plays a bad game and loses to somebody they shouldn't, and you beat somebody that you shouldn't, and you end up in the championship game against a freaking Georgia or something weird. You know what I mean? Like you never know what could happen. Um, and yeah, I mean, before they started playing like this, like it's just there was no hope whatsoever. But if they can continue to do this, it will build at least the snowball's chance in hell. Wait, that's the wrong metaphor. Uh, it'll build that tiny little flicker of, well, at least it'll make the SEC tournament worth watching, just
Yeah.
for a little bit of excitement.
Well, the thing that I think part of the thing that you didn't see coming, if you look at the way that Makai Mitchell's played lately, it's
I saw it
uh,
coming.
well, I mean, I've been set. Well, if any Hog fans can say that they've been like whining about Makai's minutes, it's the me. I've
He
been on
still
this
hasn't. He's still not starting.
now. I think Muss is just thinking like I don't want to mess with it. Like he's like I'm gonna start Lawson, but
I don't
I'm
want him.
not.
I don't want to mess with getting down by 5 to 7 points in the first 5 minutes and then
I,
putting him in.
yeah, I don't know, but you know, he puts him in and then doesn't take him out. I mean, Makai plays. Let's see here. So Makai played 33 minutes. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I mean that's starter minutes for sure. But uh, Makai, like against Missouri on the road, ties his career high, then breaks his career high on the road at Mississippi State, then breaks it again on the road against Texas A&M. That's all in like a very short window of time. And it's not just that he's like scoring, which he is. I mean, so Makai ends up this game with 22 points, 13 rebounds, 4 blocks. But he's also just like running kind of everything. And yeah, dude, I mean, he's been a difference maker. I mean, he's been the man. I mean, the last few games. Obviously, Mark was the man this game too, especially the second half. How many?
Dude,
I
it's
don't
hard to
have
pay.
you.
Everybody played. I mean, like I said, it sounds like patronizing, but I was really proud of everybody out there. Like battled. Uh,
Well, here's the thing
Blocker
about
for
listen.
not
Well,
getting any minutes for the last couple of games. Blocker came out there and dude, he did the thing that we always complain about. Like he attacks. He's on the floor every rebound, and like I said, he attacks the glass every time, and you don't see it. I mean, I see it, but like most people won't see that he's like behind the guy getting screened and falling out of bounds, but he was trying to go after the ball. You only notice it when he gets a finger on the ball and we get the rebound or something. But like for every one tip ball that he gets, he attacked six. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that sacrifice and that dedication to it's a gamble. I'm not going to win every time, but I'll never get the ball. I'll never get the couple of rebounds if I don't attack every single time.
You know who else was doing that? Davenport was doing that. Davenport
Yeah.
was getting in there, and Davenport's not the most athletic dude on the floor out there. But he had two big rebounds, offensive rebounds, where he just came in and just fought, and then he had a lot of other times where it didn't work out, but you saw him down there doing work, and like, I mean, I thought he was great. I mean, Mark does this. I mean, Mark had 6 rebounds, 5 assists to go along with 26 points. I mean, he was distributing, he was rebounding, he was swiping at the ball, just being disruptive. We can get into some of these guys. So yeah, so you have Mitchell, who played great, and some of it doesn't even show up. He has the 13 rebounds, 4 blocks, 22 points, went 10 of 12 from the free throw line, went 6 of 9 from the floor. I mean, he's just efficient as all get out. Um, the other thing that he did was that Texas A&M, like last game, they just destroyed us on the offensive glass, and they got a lot of offensive rebounds this game too. And we did get out rebounded, not as bad. It was 47-40, but what Mitchell did, and everyone did, but Mitchell was the primary guy, is when they did get offensive boards, he got real physical, but he got real vertical. Like he did a really good job of like a dude ripping down a board and then him just coming over and just being straight up and making that shot extremely difficult, making those putbacks really tough. And they did not convert on very many of them because of that. He was
Mhm.
playing really smart defense. Um, so that I thought that was great. Um, Tramon Mark, I mean, first half he was kind of just whatever. He gets his shoulder hurt. He comes back the second half, plays out of his mind. Um, I mean, taking the worst shots, but making them. I mean, shots where you're like, that's the 3-point line is directly behind you, but you're gonna pull up and do it. I don't know if I've seen a game where a guy had 3-and-1s on jump shots.
That were like 12 footers. Yeah.
Yeah, like and a three. It's just
Hmm.
like this guy's getting fouled over and over and over
How many
again.
and ones did we have? Because Battle had two at least. Uh, Mark had three. Mitchell had a couple. And
Yeah,
that might be our. If someone needs to look that stat up, that might be our highest amount of and ones that we've had in a game. We had like
yeah,
10.
yeah. I mean, there was a lot of them. Um, you go down to Battle. Battle didn't shoot the ball well. I mean, Battle was 3 of 15. He did not shoot the ball well. He was 0 for 3 from three, but he was 9 of 10 from the free throw line. He got 4 rebounds, had 2 assists, had 2 steals, only had 1 turnover. The thing I liked about Battle, and this is the whole thing, dude, like sometimes the ball doesn't go in. You don't always shoot. You don't always shoot great. But Battle, we needed him. We were better with him on the floor because he put pressure on the defense. Like I know maybe some of those were fouls. He wasn't. They weren't calling that. I mean, but I still like him going to the basket, putting pressure on the defense, making the defense move. Like if he's going to play aggressive like that, I it's fine. Like you're still helping. I mean, obviously, when you get to the free throw line and you make 9 or 10 free throws, like I mean, he had 15 points and he only shot uh 3 of 15. So
Well, and the thing that he does too, and having another guy that can attack the basket, him, Ellis, and Mark, um, and even when Blocker was out there, the one thing, and I'm sure it was an emphasis by Muss, but that they're doing a lot different is those guys when they catch the ball, they're for the most part. Mark does this a little bit too much ice. I mean, it's hard to say he does too much when he plays like that, but a lot of times he'll stop the momentum of the offense by catching the ball, putting it in the pocket. pivoting, dribble around, a little bit of ISO, eat up some clock and nothing's happening. But overall, everybody was doing that for a while. It's like everybody caught the ball, like looked around at the defense, took a couple of dribbles, and then just passed it to another guy who wasn't had no advantage. Whereas what they're doing now is when Battle and Ellis and Mark and those guys are catching the ball at the 3-point line, they're catching it and using the forward momentum of the defender and not just standing there and let him come to a defensive stance. Like they're catching it and immediately dribbling into the paint or the inside the the 3-point line. And then another thing they're doing is they're not either throwing up the bad shot when the help comes, or just a lot of times we were stopping, pivoting, and then passing out to the top of the key again to the advantage of the defense. Now, if you watch what they're doing cut, hard pass to the corner. Immediately that guy attacks. Hard pass to the top. They're not just the ball's not sticking, and it's causing us to get a lot better motion. And the defense is, I mean, it sounds so stupid. It's so simple, but like we're just not standing around as much. And those
Yeah.
guys, it helps to have another guy who, if you don't bring help, can finish at the rim, and his ball dribble attack is not an empty threat. You know what I
Right.
mean? Whereas I mean, I guess it's not with any of those guys necessarily, but with Ellis, Mark, and Battle all doing that, you have to at least respect them when they attack inside the 3-point line. And they're making much better, more efficient, quicker passes on the move. They're not coming to a stop and observing as much. We were doing so much looking around and just letting the clock spin and not gaining an advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, so here's something. Even L. Ellis, L. Ellis plays 26 minutes. He's 0 of 3. He's 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Um, he only has 1 point and again didn't do a lot. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist. Um, but I thought he played well. Like, I mean, like he was just out there facilitating, breaking that press. Like, I didn't think he played bad. Like I thought he played well, and he didn't try to do too much. Like yeah, that, which was good. Um, I thought getting into Blocker, I thought Blocker was great. I mean, like he's gonna foul because he's so aggressive, and he had 4 fouls in 23 minutes. But and he only had 5 points. He was 2 of 5. Hit that big three, but he had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, a block. Uh, I just thought I mean, I mean, I'm excited. You got to remember that Blocker's a freshman. He's playing high school basketball last year. Like Blocker is a guy that, um, you definitely don't want to see his name in the portal. I don't think. I think Blocker's a guy that he looks like a dude that you want to be on the Razorbacks for a couple of years. I think he's going to be a really good piece. Um, even that one time when he just like blew by a dude and was like, "I'm gonna go 2-hand dunk this," and he got swatted. I like it, dude. I like
Mm-hmm.
that aggressiveness.
Yeah, and I mean that was a great defensive play by that guy, but that was just one of those ones too where you're like, dude, the difference between that being the Sports Center highlight posterized dunk and it being the turn back block. I mean,
Yeah,
that guy barely got his hand in there. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like another fraction of a second, and he's getting dunked on. And so yeah, like I mean, it's just a good play, but um, I like the aggressiveness for sure.
yeah. And Blocker's great on defense because you remember, dude, like in that 23 minutes, Blocker was guarding Wade Taylor that whole time he was in there, and even Wade Taylor's a like a dude that drops buckets, dude. I mean, there's a guy that's averaging like 26 points a game or whatever. And I mean, Blocker really shut his water off, man. And he was making things difficult. And you could tell that when Blocker was out there, that's what he was concerned about. Like he understood his assignment. He like embraced that role. And he's like, my job is to make your job very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know what. I mean, you have to break down the tape, but I'm not so sure that on the ball. I mean, obviously he can get in foul trouble and it can all be for naught. But if he can just even spread his fouls out over the course of 30 minutes, I'm not so sure Blocker's not a better one-on-one on the ball defender right now than Devo. At least right now.
Yeah,
Um,
I do know that he is right now.
it just doesn't. I mean, Devo's so much longer than him. He
I
should he
I do
shouldn't be.
I do know that he did. Like right now, Blocker is a better on-ball defender. If you have a guard like Wade Taylor that you're like worried about shooting and getting to the rim and stuff, Blocker is better right now. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like here's the thing: Devo played 7 minutes. Did not shoot the ball. No rebounds. No assists. No steals. No blocks. 2 turnovers. 3 fouls. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, I mean, I don't like you played 7 minutes. You got 2 turnovers and 3 fouls. Like, I don't know. And he could
That's definitely not being smart with your feet.
no. And um and Musk could have put him back in and didn't. I mean, he didn't foul out, and he
Mm-hmm.
didn't. And so um Devo's, I like Devo. I love Devo, but even when that ball's whipping around, like Devo is hesitant to shoot right now. Like he's like, I don't um yeah, I just don't know. I'm finding it more difficult to think that you're because unless he's going to be like getting you like he's going to be a really good rebounding guard and he's going to like really lock down some other guys, one of the other team's best players. I don't know that how you're better with him on the floor than like Blocker or you know whoever,
Mm-hmm.
Menafield or when you have him back or whatever it is. So yeah, I don't know like that, and that's tough to say because I want Devo to be in there and be good, but I don't. Blocker. So this was interesting. Blocker has the highest plus minus on the team in this game. But Blocker plays 23 minutes. We're plus 17 when he's in the game. That's higher than anybody's.
Mm.
So you're like, I mean, that is what it is, so and you have to ask yourself, well, why is that? Well, it ain't because he was filling it up, jacking up shots. I mean, he had 5 points, like it ain't his scoring that's doing that. Like you're just better with him on the floor.
Well, and especially with maybe a team like, I mean, that's probably not going to be the case every time, but a team like Texas A&M that really wants to work the ball through a particular guard. You know what I mean? They want him to trigger the offense and facilitate. And if you can disrupt that,
Mhm.
it does, and it appeared to make their offense very clunky. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
one guy being able to stay in front of his man, not let that guy get off. And you could
I mean,
tell
did
they
you
just
did you
like,
see how much like Mark and Blocker were up in the chests of guys? Like I've not seen us doing this. Like um where guys are just bouncing off them like, you know, 28 feet from the basket and they're just like chest to chest with dudes like moving their feet and stuff. And I'm like, dude, that's what I'm talking about. Like that like I'm into that.
well, and in a way that doesn't cause them to get, out of position too. Because I mean,
Hmm.
anyone can run right up to somebody and then the guy just walks around them. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Because which is what Battle was doing a lot. You could tell Battle, and I still think he's learning, but it does look like he is learning. He's figuring it out. He didn't know, it wasn't embodied in his like mind. How do you play? I mean, you got to be so on your toes to be up in someone's business like that and still not get blown by. Dude, I mean, it's all about the way you have your hips turned to where they have the ball, and it's a constant gyroscope of pivoting as they dribble around to be close enough to not let them get a shot off, but also have your hips turned the right way that when they start to attack, you're there and
Yeah.
they got to back up. And Battle struggled with that. He was doing okay, well, I need to play hard, so I'll just be up in people, and he was just either fouling them or they were just running right around him. And now he's starting to do a better job of, uh, you know, not letting guys get around him, but still crowding space. I mean, he's still, like I said, not as good as Mark and Blocker are at it, but he's getting better. He's not making as many stupid fouls. He's not reaching as much.
Yep.
And like I said, I mean, they pointed out like he was putting pressure on that one kid and made him step out of bounds.
Hmm.
And that was true. Like he got there, realized that he did the right thing where if you watch that, he closed out and he got close enough that he felt like, okay, he's not going to shoot it now. Like I'm close enough that he's not going to shoot it. And now I can really crowd him because and he take that extra step, got up into his space, and he had to take that just half a step back. And that's smart defense. Just
Yeah.
he didn't close out so fast and hard that the guy blew by him. He stopped. If you watch that, he gets in there about 2 feet away, just enough to not let him just go by, but close enough to make him hesitate on the shot, then crowds him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was much more fun to watch for sure.
Yeah.
Watch a team, like I said, when you have the announcer go, they're just, I can't remember what he said, but one time we got a fast break steal or something and ran it out, and he said they're just running them off the floor. I'm like, what is happening?
Well,
How
I
are they
mean,
doing
and what
this?
was consistent through the game is you kept hearing like Arkansas is like he's like if this game is going to come down to who's playing harder, and Arkansas is playing harder than them, and we played harder than them from start to finish. Like we did
With
play
way
harder.
less to like, dude, they have something to play for. Like that's
I know.
embarrassing. If I'm an A&M fan, I'm bummed out because to lose to a bad Arkansas team at home when you are kind of desperate. I mean, dude, you want to talk about a gotta have it game for them.
Yeah.
Holy moly. But overall, I would say,
Also, like one more we got to talk about, and we mentioned briefly, but I Davenport plays 20 minutes. I liked his minutes. He didn't shoot the ball great. He was 4 of 10. He was 1 of 6 from three. I didn't mind the threes he took. We only shot 15 threes this game. We made 4 of them. That's not great. Him and Battle can make more of those. Neither of them shot great from the outside. They can do, but I don't mind them taking the shots.
mhm,
You got to take some of them, right? And I think Davenport also had to take 1 or 2 that were at the end of the shot clock. Like he didn't have a choice.
mhm,
So that there's that too. But I still, he had 2 steals. He had 3 rebounds. He had 4 fouls in 20 minutes. But even those fouls and stuff, sometimes he's caught underneath because he's having to play like the power forward spot. Like he's like Mitchell. He's an undersized 4, and he's just battle. And you're gonna foul some. But I thought his energy was great. I mean, he was playing hard, and I like his. I think he has a good attitude. Um, he's encouraging. It seems like he's happy for other players. Like, I mean, after the game, you could tell like maybe no one was more excited about winning the game than he was. He was.
mhm.
So I like
Maybe Mark.
maybe Mark, yeah, but I
No,
liked
I'm saying
that.
no. Mark doesn't show any emotion. Mark, like that buzzer went off, and Mark was just like walked over the side. By the way, it needs to be said, Mark kind of looks like Cat Williams.
Dude, what there are times like he Mark had like I know he's tall, like, but he's not like what is he like? He's like 6'6"?
Yeah, I think so.
Like
He's pretty gangly.
he's like my heightish or whatever. Uh dude, like when he rises up, like he looks so long. Like he doesn't look it until like but then he gets going left and then pulls up and you're like and he does get some air underneath that jump shot, but you're like he just like once he gets all stretched out, dude, you're like, you're looking long, bro. Like, that does look impossible to do anything about. Like, I don't know how you stop
But dude,
that.
I mean, yeah. Well, if you had his athleticism and you could lift 2 feet off the ground and you shot a Kobe Bryant style fadeaway, it'd be pretty tough to block.
Yeah. But then like he gets those times like when he does decide like I'm just gonna go left to the rim, where you are like, that's tough, dude. Like because he gets all stretched out and he's just like, yeah, shabow, and then just like gets to the rim like all of a sudden, and you're like, I don't know what to do about that, dude. But no, I mean he played great. But no, like I like even when Davenport doesn't shoot the ball great or whatever, I like his enthusiasm. I like the effort that he plays with. I like that he looks like he plays he plays with some joy that I think is
Hmm.
good. Like he looks like he wants to play basketball, which and there were times this season where he kind of was maybe like looked like the only one that like wanted to be there.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too excited. Obviously, they basically lost a game that they probably should have won on the road last week, or over the weekend, and then managed to get this one. I think you don't want to get too over your skis. Both of these teams we played are sort of flagging SEC teams. It's it's impressive that they were able to do it on the road, but that performance is not going to beat Tennessee or Kentucky or Auburn. Um, Now that defensive effort will give you a shot, but you're going to have to shoot a little better. You're going to have to play a little better on offense. But I mean, what do you want? It's an improvement. It's a W. They are weirdly trending in the right direction in spite of injuries and basically nothing to play for and nothing but pride to which you didn't seem like it was the kind of thing that was going to be enough to motivate this team
Mm,
because they didn't play with pride when they had everything to play for, and now it feels like that the season's a little bit lost. I think it's impressive and a testament to their individual character and maybe to Muss as a coach, the fact that they haven't just quit
yeah.
because they have every reason to. I mean, there's injuries. There, it just has not been the season anybody wanted, and it certainly would be understandable that they would be like, I don't want to get injured. I mean, Mark, my shoulder's hurt. Like, dude, forget about this. Like, I want to still I want to play basketball next year. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
um, you could see these guys not the fact that they're playing the way that they are winning is by giving maximum effort and really sacrificing their bodies as far as effort and energy. It is a testament to their character, and I'm proud of them and impressed and honest, quite frankly, surprised.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised that they're trending this way, and
Mhm.
maybe it can get better. You never know. Like I said, and we'll see. We got
Yeah.
some hard competition. Probably gonna lose to a couple of these teams coming up, but you never know. I mean, all you can do is improve, and
Yep.
it's encouraging. It's been
Yeah.
definitely more fun to watch, even in that Missouri State game. Like it was more fun to watch that game than freaking some of these absolute, just clown fests of
Yeah, dude.
uh
I can always watch effort. Like, I can watch effort. And that was the thing that we've been wanting. Really, it's like, man, I need that. And that effort starts on the defensive end. Starts with going after rebounds. It starts with that. It starts with that stuff, and they're doing those things. And if you're doing those
and
things and you come up
they're
short,
cleaning
then
up the turnovers and stuff too. Like
yeah,
their offense just looks. Dude, I mean, the offense of pass the ball around the top of the key and just somebody eventually just take three guys on and throw up a freaking leaner, like that's not fun to watch. It's
no.
very boring and frustrating. You know what I mean?
But
Like, but to watch the
Mackay
ball move is
mid
fun.
pick and roll is fun to watch though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. By the way, Mackay be finishing that pick and roll. Very soft little like these aren't like pick and roll to the dunk. It's like pick and roll to the soft paw of Mackay Mitchell. Just yeah, dude. Love it.
All right. Well,
All right. Well, that's
we'll
it,
see.
man. We'll see what happens this weekend. We got two that I don't want to like, no counting any SEC chickens. But you got Missouri and Vanderbilt coming up. You feel like those are games that you can win. You know that you're going to be competitive in those games. Can you put together a little streak here before you face Kentucky again? We'll see. That would be good. So, all right. Well, I'll
Yep.
see you
All right.
this weekend, dude.
All right. See you, man.